Thank you so much. Thank you for holding this important hearing. I thank you and Senator Schmidt for stewarding this panel and for the panelists being here today. I really want to focus on technology in general and technology risks. And I know you guys represent different viewpoints, particularly from the agency side. But I would hope that you might be able to quickly just, and then for the record, if necessary, give us a more detailed answer. What do you think are the technology risks with space commercialization? This committee played a very big role in a new certification program for the FAA, trying to correct what we thought were some shortages both in workforce and in redundancy issues. But how do you see the commercial space challenge, and what do you think are the technological challenges that we really need to focus on from a safety perspective? We in the Northwest are very proud of the $4.6 billion space industry. That's to our economy and 13,000 jobs. But we want to get the next phase right, too. And so how would you characterize those technological challenges from a safety perspective? And anyone who wants to, if you want to start, Mr.
I'd be happy to start. I think, again, we're seeing a use of space at a pace that is surprising, even to those of us who are veterans. And as we see the fleets of commercial satellites in particular move into the single and then double-digit thousands, again, what our focus of the Department of Commerce is on the space situational awareness and putting in place a next generation way to track space objects. Again, one of the issues that we have is it's not just the United States. The Chinese have announced a mega constellation they want to launch. I suspect we'll see similar activities in Europe. So we could see the number of satellites being launched in the tens of thousands. So the technical challenge is the systems we have today aren't sufficient to do the level of exquisite SSA that we need. We need to be consistently excellent at something today that we're only good at.
And
so
you're not just talking about the debris side of the equation. You're talking about the communication interference, I would guess, and other.
I'm talking about the actual physical objects in space. When you get tens of thousands of objects in low Earth orbit together with human spaceflight, it is a potentially volatile situation.
So you'd say number one issue, LEOs.
From my perspective, that is the
Okay.
number one issue.
Okay. Mr. Coleman.
Senator Cantwell, thanks for the question. I think as we see more commercial space launch activities take place, particularly in the National Aerospace System, we're significantly challenged to accommodate the number of launches alongside the commercial aviation activities that we're seeing. We've been addressing that through procedural changes, policy changes, and also we're trying to address it through technological changes as well. We're looking to implement and stand up new tools like Space Data Integrator that will help us better understand what a vehicle's health is, where it is in the system, et cetera. But we need to advance those efforts to better manage the proliferation of space activities that we're now seeing in the National Aerospace System, for sure.
Mr. Hill, did you want to jump in there?
Certainly, if I could pick up on what Mr. Dalbello was discussing, as the volume of space vehicles grows exponentially in space, the challenge is incorporating into the space surveillance networks, government, commercial, and others, and the data fusion that you need to do to keep track of where all of this is. This is why, one of the reasons why we're saying this is not a traditional Defense Department mission. That's more classic civil agency type of mission. Our focus is on particular satellites that might be of a threatening nature. The challenge we really have here with the commercial is simply orbital dynamics. And certainly technology will allow more autonomous control, more carrying capacity in low Earth orbit, but staying pace with that will be one of the big challenges from a safety perspective.
So you would say autonomous capacity maybe number one, or no?
I think we probably don't know what the ultimate capacity is as the technology to actually manage it grows, but keeping pace with that and understanding.
I'm pretty sure our delivery system of all that equipment and freight to the moon is going to be autonomous, isn't it? Isn't it, Ms. Melroy?
That's correct, Chair. There will be humans on the loop, but many of the activities have a time delay as well.
Yeah. Well, did you have something you wanted to put into?
Yes, I did. In the remaining, it's It's very difficult to narrow it down. I agree with my colleague about space domain awareness, not just for collision avoidance, but also for accountability for things like rendezvous and proximity operations and the safety and the accountability for those actions. We believe that understanding the explosive potential of new propellants is important, such as the current methane systems. We're working closely with industry and with the FAA to define that for the safety of our operations as well as commercial. I'll add technology that enables spectrum sharing, and I'm sure the Department of Defense could talk more about that because they have a lot of programs in that area. In addition to that, we believe that it's vital to do continued research on nuclear power and propulsion to enable deep space capabilities, but we want to do it safely.
Thank you so much. What I'd like to do is just have you expand for the record what you think the top 3 issues are. You've kind of achieved that, Ms. Milroy, but for the record, if you could do that. If you want to add 5 or 6 other things, great. It's more, I think part of our challenge going forward on how to look at this is really understanding what are the technological challenges and workforce challenges in the context of even what is proper oversight. But until you really understand what the technology challenges are, you really can't decide whether you have the kind of technology support and oversight that you need. And as people discuss, is commerce a place to be? Is FAA a place to be? And how do we coordinate between various agencies? And obviously, Mr. Hill, the spectrum issue in and of itself is pretty big, and Ms. Melroy talked about it. So it's really a question of how do all of these things come together? And you all basically, Ms. Melroy may not have said the word pace, but everybody is talking about the rapid deployment here of next generation technology, and how does the government even stay pace with that? And what does it take for us to have the right people, the right dialogues, the right information? So anyway, I'll look forward to your written answers to those questions too. And thank you so much for the hearing.